Students, last session we discussed the aggregate demand function and aggregate supply function, and also we discussed the equilibrium between aggregate demand function and aggregate supply function. And today we are going to discussing the difference between classical theory and Keynesian theory, or classicism and Keynesianism. So next we will move to the last chapter of the first lesson, very important chapter, important topic. So now we are moved to the difference between classical theory and Keynesian theory. Now we are going to discussing the difference between classicism and Keynesianism. The first point of Keynesian is the short-run equilibrium, because this is the modern theory. So all the business activities are run only in the short run. So in the classical, very old theory, all the business are in the long run equilibrium. So in the Keynesian theory, they will attain only in the short run equilibrium, both employment and output. In the classical theory, so they are believing the long run equilibrium, we will get the equilibrium of employment and income only in the long run. The second one is the Keynesian theory. They are believing the saving is a vice. Saving in Keynesian theory, they are not give the importance for the saving. Saving is a very the classical period, the people, they are save their income in very small amount. For example, saving is equal to S is equal to Y minus C. This is the formula for saving. Income minus consumption expenditure, it is equal to saving. So in the classical theory, the saving is a very important habit of the classical period, very old period. Saving is all the people, they are some portion of income they are saving for future expenditure. So in the classical theory, the saving is very important. In the Keynesian theory, they are not give the importance for the savings. And the third difference of the Keynesian theory, the function of money is a medium of exchange. There are 5 important functions of money. One is functions of money. One is medium of exchange. Second one is store of value. And the third one is value of deferred payments. So these are the very important primary functions of money. So in the period, the functions of money act as only the medium of exchange. And on the other side, the functions of money is also work as a store of value. The money values never change. So all the people's wealth are measured in terms of money. So in the Keynesian theory, modern theory, the money acts as a two character. One is medium of exchange and another one is store of value. But in the classical period, very old period, during the 1776, money acts as only one function, only one character, that is medium of exchange, because the savings and investment, they are not give the importance. Money acts as only the medium of exchange of goods and services from one person to another place or another person. And the fourth one is the macro approach to national problem. In the Keynesian theory, they are believe the macro approach. Macro approach means like a national income, unemployment in the country, population of the country. So it will consider as a macro approach is a nature. Macro approach is considered as a national problem, but in the classical theory, micro foundation of macro problem, the small unit, the individual problem, it will consider as a macro problem. And in the Keynesian theory, the fifth point is the state. State means government. Government is intervention is advocated, because in the Keynesian theory, they are give the importance to the participation of the government. Here the government intervention is advocated to all the economic activities. And here in the classical period, only the rich people, business people, they are get the full freedom from the government. Here they are following the laissez-faire policy, that means non-government intervention or participation. And the sixth difference is in the Keynesian theory, the applicable to all the situation, whether the full employment or whether the less than employment, the Keynesian theory is applicable to all the situation in the country. But in the classical period, the applicable only in the full employment period, because all the resources are utilized in the classical period, all the peoples, they are receiving the employment to the business people, from the business people. So in the Keynesian theory, only used whether the full employment or less than full employment. But in the classical period, only applicable to the full employment situation. And the next difference is the capitalism has inheritance the contradiction. So in the Keynesian theory, so they are not give the importance to the capitalism. Capitalism means all the economic activities are controlled by the private people. So in the Keynesian theory, they are not believe in the capitalism policy. But in the classical period, they are believe capitalism is a well and good. All the economic activities are controlled by private people, business people, owner, no participation in the government. So if you want to economic growth, the Keynesian theory, they are not advocated capitalism, but in the classical theory, they are advocated in the capitalism policy. And the eighth difference is in the Keynesian theory, the budgeting should be adjusted to the requirements of the economy. The budget, for example, the budget or plan or policy should adjusted to the requirement of the every year. They will every year they will publish a budget in their parliament. So they will adjust with the what are the requirements of the economy in the particular country. But in the classical theory or classicism, so they are believed the balanced budget. So budgets are divided into three types. One is balanced budget, and the second one is unbalanced budget, and the third one is zero based budget. Balanced budget means income of the government is equal to expenditure of the government. That is known as balanced budget. And unbalanced budget is known as income is less than expenditure. That is known as unfavorable budget. Another name of the unbalanced budget is unfavorable budget. Zero based budget means every year target will change. Every year the target will change. So in the classical theory, they are believed the balanced budget, that is known as all the income must be spent by the government. Keynesian theory, the equality between saving and investment is advocated through the changes in the income. So you will get income is a very important factor for determining savings and investment. And in the classical theory, the quality between savings and investment is achieved through changes of rate of interest. Here, income is a very important factor for determining savings and investment. In the classical theory, the rate of interest is very essential for determining the savings and investment. How? For example, if the banking sector, they will give high interest rate to the deposit. So the people, they are save more in the banking sector. If the interest rate is fall down, minimum interest rate, minimum interest rate. The people, they are not willing to save their money in the bank. They are willing to invest their money in the business investment. So in the income is the very important factor for determining saving and investment. But in the classical theory, rate of interest is the very essential for savings and investment. And here, how the rate of interest is determined under the Keynesian theory. The rate of interest is determined by demand and supply of money. It is a very important factor. The interest rate is determined by how much of money need in the country, or how much of money demand for the country, and how much of money ready to supply by the government in the particular country. The rate of interest rate is fixed by the demand and supply of money. And in the classical theory, the rate of interest rate is determined by savings and investment. So earlier we discussed, say rate of interest is determined by savings and investment. Here the rate of interest is determined by savings and investment. And 11th point is, the rate of interest is a flow, may be changes. Flow means, for example, if you draw the flow chart, so it is known as flow chart. So based on the economic condition of the particular country, the rate of interest will change or more, or the government, they will reduce the rate of interest. So the rate of interest rate is flow in the Keynesian theory. But in the classical theory, the rate of interest is stock. Stock means fixed. In any economic condition, the classical period, the rate of interest will not change. And in the Keynesian theory, the demand creates its own supply. The people, the demand of the people is more, so it will create the supply in the Keynesian theory. But in the classical period, supply creates its own demand. The private owner, private industrialist, they supply more, and they will insist the people to purchase more. That is, the supply creates its own demand. And in the Keynesian theory, the rate of interest is the reward for parting the liquidity. The rate of interest is based on the income of the people and the savings of the people. But here in the classical period, the rate of interest is a reward for waiting. How much time, how much month, how much year we will wait for getting the initial amount. The rate of interest is fixed by the time period. That is, the rate of interest is reward for waiting. Students, now we are completed third lesson, and tomorrow we will go to discuss the fourth lesson, consumption and investment function. So in the second chapter, we already discussed the national income, concept of national income, and the importance of national income, and what are the difficulties of national income, and how to calculate under national income. Here there is close relationship between consumption and investment and the national income. National income is a very important factor to determining the country's economic growth, and the consumption and investment also one of the basic determinants of our national income. Student, next class we will going to discuss the consumption and investment function. Very important lesson, very important concept, and also very interesting concept. Thank you.